Well, folks, very busy on Capitol Hill, very busy around the United States. We're certainly busy at the Missouri Capitol as well. We've got a special session coming up about a supplemental budget that deals with COVID. I'm Brian Houseworth, and joining me for a few minutes, we always appreciate his time, is Missouri Senator Josh Hawley, who serves on Judiciary and on Armed Services on the Hill. Senator, appreciate your time. Let's start with Amy Coney Barrett. What is the latest on that, and when do you expect to vote?
Well, today the Judiciary Committee voted unanimously to move her nomination to the floor, which is outstanding. She's such a great candidate, Brian, and I was so impressed with her in her hearings this past week. I look forward to voting to confirm her, and I expect that final vote, we'll actually have a series of votes over the weekend, and we'll have a time for debate over the weekend and then into Monday, and I'd expect a final vote on her confirmation sometime Monday, probably Monday afternoon.
Are you optimistic she'll be confirmed, Senator?
I am optimistic. I really am optimistic. I don't think the Democrats have been able to lay a glove on her. I mean, she has been extremely impressive. She's extremely well qualified, well-spoken, has a great track record as a judge and before that as a constitutional scholar. So I look forward to supporting her.
Senator, what is the latest? I know you and I talk as much as we can a couple times a month. We've talked about stimulus packages, et cetera. What is the latest on that, and do you see something happening where Americans will be able to get checks like they received back in the spring?
Well, we just voted a couple of days ago, Brian, on another relief package here, and once again, in the Senate that is, and once again my Democrat colleagues filibustered it and refused to even allow us to debate it. You know, in the Senate you have to have a vote to start debate. They wouldn't even allow us to debate the bill. So I continue to say to my Democrat friends, we've got to be able to reach some consensus on this. I mean, they are holding up all COVID relief. They won't allow any COVID relief at all to even be debated. I think this is a huge, huge mistake on their part. I've introduced, as you know, Brian, a number of measures, including a relief measure for parents who've got kids at home because of COVID, distance learning, maybe schools closed or partly closed. We ought to be helping them cover their expenses out of pocket associated with that distance learning, and we ought to be helping them replace lost wages that they may be suffering because of having kids at home and they've got to miss a shift in order to stay home with a kid. That is one example of relief I think could get bipartisan support. We also ought to be getting people back to work. We ought to be helping businesses rehire every worker who they had to lay off because of COVID. I know that could get bipartisan support. So I just again urge my Democrat colleagues, let us debate a bill and let's reach some consensus.
Senator, final question, and that is a story that I've been working on here, and I know you're on the Armed Services Committee. You may not know all the details, but I'd love to get your take as best you can. The Missouri Veterans Commission is reporting now that 67 veterans at Missouri Veterans Homes have died due to COVID since September the 1st. 29 of those 67 deaths are at the Cape Girardeau home. I asked the governor about this yesterday. Governor Parson said he's very disappointed in the news. He acted immediately, says, when he found out about the spike in death, Senator, he ordered an external review, and that continues. That's going on right now. Have you heard anything about this, and do you have any reaction to the COVID deaths, Senator, of these veterans?
I am tracking this very closely, and I think to lose, first of all, to lose anybody to COVID is a tragedy. To lose 67 veterans in the context of these veterans' homes is very disturbing. It's very, very concerning, and I'm glad that the governor has taken this action to order a review and investigation, and I look forward to the results of that, and look forward to action being taken to make sure that the standards of care are at the highest possible level. We owe that to our veterans. So I'm tracking this situation closely. I think the governor's taken the right steps here. You've got to act aggressively in these situations, I think. You've got to get to the bottom of what's going on, and if there need to be changes made, you've got to make them as quickly as possible. And so I look forward to seeing the outcome of that review.